This is Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
It's time for FLALAW, brought to you by the personal injury attorneys at Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes. This hour will be informative, along with taking your questions and comments. Now, here are your hosts for today's show.
Good evening. It is Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. Those that had Labor Day off may think it's Monday, but no, it is Tuesday evening, and I am Matthew Noyes, one of the partners at the law firm of Perenich, Caulfield, Avril, and Noyes. We proudly put on FLALAW on the radio, now for almost 2 years. It's a thank you to our community. We are a personal injury law firm that has been helping people for 70 years. Yes, it is our 70th birthday this year. We have been around since 1955. Guy Perenich started the law firm down, I think it was on Court Street, but maybe Cleveland Street, down in downtown Clearwater back in 1955, and we've been going strong since. Tonight, we're going to do something a little bit different. Every week, for those faithful listeners, you have heard one of the attorneys from Perenich, Caulfield, Avril, Noyes be here with special guests from different areas of law. But today, we're doing something different. I have a very special guest. Although it's not law related, it's even more special because of who she is. It's Loretta Mitchell, and she is with Simply Sweet Elves, a wonderful community company or entity that is really helping other people. And I thought that would be wonderful, to spotlight her adventure and how she can help other people in our community as well. So Loretta, thank you very much for joining us today on FLALAW.
Thank you so much, Matt. I am so happy and honored to be here today.
Great. And I've known Loretta for a long time,
Yes.
and her husband, Bobby, who's hiding in the corner over there. We've known each other for a long time. And so Loretta has a wonderful story that she can share with others. So Loretta, let's just jump right into it, okay? Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and why we're here tonight?
I sure will. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope that the information that I share with everyone would be beneficial for all. Well, as Matt said, my name is Loretta Mitchell. I am the founder and CEO of Simply Sweet Elves Incorporated, which is a small nonprofit that I started here in Clearwater back in December of 2023. And it came out of just out having fun and fell in love with the wonderful world of gardening. After suffering a long-term illness, I was hospital-bound, nursing home-bound for almost 3 years, dealing with a lot of serious illnesses regarding my lungs. And just as I was coming out of my illness, getting stronger, trying to get stronger, getting better, along came that little virus that we all know of back in 2019.
Yeah.
And it just about was like, you got to be kidding me. After being in a bubble for a whole year,
Right.
I thought, I've got to find some way to get out of this house and get some exercise and fresh air. And so I have 3 wonderful sons, and they all jumped in, and they were trying to find things to keep mom occupied. So one son bought me a sewing machine. Another son bought me, and I love to cook, love to cook. So him and his wife, they bought me, what do you call it? The pot. Oh my God, pressure cooker pot.
Okay.
Instant pot.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Instant pot. Okay.
Yes. And the last son, he couldn't come home for the holidays that year because of no travel. He decided to send me 2 raised beds and about 6 herb starter plants. And I thought to myself, he's lost his mind. I am not much of an outdoor person, at least I wasn't back then. But came January, I couldn't wait to get out there after Christmas. And I set up my beds, and I started playing around with those herbs. And by April, I had fell madly in love with the world of gardening.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Just totally madly in love with it. So then I expanded from herbs, and I added on tomatoes, and slowly continued to add until before I knew it, we had about 1,800 square feet of gardening space.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Just a little about myself. Is that?
Yeah. Well, I do want to touch base just a little bit more about yourself, because I know you aren't going to talk about it. I knew you when you were going through those medical
Yes.
struggles, and in fact, I think you have like a name tag over at your at the medical facility, like a walking miracle, right?
Yes, that's exactly. I spent many, many, many months in the hospital here locally. Every day they would walk in, the doctors would look at me and shake their head. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. All they could tell me is that my lungs were dying, and they didn't know why. So, as a last ditch effort, the doctors decided to submit my case to Mayo Clinic. But because I was so dire, I was so sick, so weak, had chest tube, the whole 9 yards, they wasn't quite sure if I would live long enough for Mayo to decide whether or not they wanted to accept me as a patient because it does take a process. So they went ahead and they faxed over, emailed over my application or paperwork, whatever they had to send to Mayo. And within 3 days, Mayo had accepted me as a
Wow.
patient, which normally they said that can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months. At that time, I was so dire ill, they didn't know whether or not I would even live long enough for them to make a decision. But thank goodness that Mayo did accept me so quickly. So I was transferred, well, first before I went to Mayo, because I was even too weak to even travel to get to Mayo, I went to a nursing home. I
Okay.
spent many weeks in a nursing home trying to build my strength up so that I could travel safely to get to Mayo. And I arrived at Mayo in January of 2017, I believe it was. I know it was
Okay.
January on a cold winter day. And from the moment I walked into, well, I didn't walk in there, they rolled me into Mayo Clinic. Everything just changed and opened up for me. And Mayo went to work and they figured out exactly what my the lung disease that I have, exactly what the disease was. And they immediately started me on treatment. According to Mayo, now they tell me that they themselves wasn't quite sure if they would be able to save me.
Wow.
Yeah, but they were trying to buy me as much time as they
Right.
could. At that time, I wasn't even able to walk. I was in a wheelchair. I was totally wheelchair bound, and they were telling me that I would probably never walk again. That's how
Wow.
dire I was.
Wow.
So immediately they got busy with me, started treating me. I went through procedures after procedures after procedures. So for about 2 years, my life revolved around being in a hospital and nursing home, hospital and nursing home. And as I said, back in December of 2020, when my son sent me the 2 raised beds and the herbs, I got out that January and I said, you know what? I've got to do this. I've got to get fresh air. I need to be outside of this house after being cooped up for so long. So I went out and with my walker and everything, and I started planting seeds.
So the gardening helped out. Just the activity of gardening helped out. But
Yes.
what you were planting and what you were gardening, harvesting,
Yes.
was that helpful for you in your
Mhm.
well-being and in your road to recovery for your health?
It most definitely was. I
Okay.
mean, it was helpful for me spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Okay.
Spiritually, it gave me an opportunity to get my mind off of my illness. I can go out in my backyard and I would completely forget about everything that was going on. I would be so distracted and just so interested in thinking that this little bitty tiny seed that I'm going to plant is going to turn into something that I can actually feed my family. That just
Yeah.
blew my mind. And being out walking around so much, I built up my strength, I built up my energy, the sun. It just helped to replenish my body with all of the natural vitamins, like the vitamin D's and everything. And it completely changed my life. I mean, totally changed my life. I never thought that I would be able to do the things that I'm doing today.
And the greens that you plant and you grow,
Yes.
they're very helpful, right?
Yes. Because I had have a lung disease, I had a cough mat that had lasted for over 2.5 years. I literally would cough at least 20 hours out of the day. I would cough so hard and so long, my neck would swell, my chest would
Wow.
swell, my back would spasm. I would have severe muscle spasms. And Mayo had me drinking Mullen tea. I had never heard of Mullen tea before. So I was, of course, going online and I was ordering it. It wasn't by prescription. I was on so many heavy duty medications for the cough. Nothing was clearing it up, nothing at all. So I started drinking Mullen tea and I thought, well, it was giving me some relief. It was giving me a little bit of relief. But one day I decided to open up the tea bag and I was just shocked. It had these little blue BB petals in it. And I knew then that it was additives and preservatives. And I'm thinking, well, I don't need that. I don't need to add anything else to my body that's not
Oh.
natural. So then I went on this big search to find mullein seeds. And I started growing mullein. And I processed that down. I drink at least 1 to 2 cups of mullein tea every day. Just like magic. I couldn't tell you the day that it happened. I had been coughing for so long, my cough completely went away.
Wow.
Totally went away. It had been gone probably for several weeks. And I said to Bobby, my husband, and I said, I haven't been coughing. I'm not coughing.
So used to coughing then.
Yeah, I was so used to coughing. I mean, I couldn't believe, I don't even know the date that it went away. And I
Wow.
know it was the mullein tea
Yeah.
that did it. So that's
wonderful.
one herb that I will always grow in my garden. I
That's
drink it
wonderful.
every day.
And is that what sparked you to start up Simply Sweet Elves?
It is. And but I look at my health and what it did for me. And I thought, if this can do this for me, how many others out there that are not aware of these different things that they can do to promote their own health and to heal their body naturally, and even the food that we eat. I get to control exactly what goes in my body.
Right.
We eat 80 to 90% of all of our produce from my garden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I haven't bought produce probably in 3 years now.
Wow.
And from the garden, I also make all of my herbs. I control how much salt goes into it. I control everything that goes, and there's never any additive and preservatives. I just go outside, harvest whatever I want to make and season that day and bring it in, process it, and there it is. I know
Yeah.
exactly what's in it from seed to start.
And you've noticed that that's great for your health.
My health has changed and improved
Yeah.
in ways that I never thought was possible. And my doctors say the same thing.
Wow.
It was funny when I started making my super green powder, little magic vitamin pills, I call them.
Yeah.
And it's all pure. I don't use any preservatives, no additives. I don't use anything that's not organic. I really very conscious about what I put in my garden. So I went to my doctor and I had blood work done. I had been taking my super green vitamins supplements for about 6 or 7 months. And when I went and had blood work done that January, my doctors couldn't believe how well my blood was.
Wow.
And I didn't tell them because
Right.
I was like, I know I'm supposed to be taking all of this prescription medicine and all of the store-bought vitamins, but I didn't tell her what I was doing. She was just so excited. So when I went back 6 months later for my checkup, she came in and she's like, okay, what the heck is going on
Yeah.
here? Your blood work is perfect,
Wow.
And so then I told her, I showed them to her and I'm like, I'm growing my own vitamins. She's like, you're doing what? I said, I'm growing my own vitamins. And I'm like, see? And I showed them to her and she just couldn't believe it. And
Wow.
I told her exactly what was in it and how pure it was. And from there, I got my family taking it. My husband's health has drastically improved.
I know. I see Bobby over there. He's looking really good now. He's
Yes.
been trimmed,
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
good.
He was in pretty good health, but he had the
Yes.
common everyday things, like
Sure.
the high blood pressure and that type of thing, which
Yes.
has been able to totally get it under control. He had
Great.
his physical back 2 months ago in June, I think it was.
Great.
And his doctors couldn't believe it. She's like, oh my God, all your numbers are perfect. He's like,
Wow.
what are you doing? He's like, my wife in her garden.
Well, that's wonderful. Our listeners, you're listening to Loretta Mitchell. She's with Simply Sweet Elves. This is Matthew Noyes. We are on FLALAW on the radio. Yes, we're not talking about law, but we're talking about something that's very important to life. And
Yes,
that
it is.
is a way that you can use Mother Earth
Mhm,
to heal
absolutely.
yourself and to help others heal themselves.
Overall give you a better quality of life. I don't worry about what's in my food. I don't worry about what's in my vitamin. I know what's in it because the only
Right.
thing that's in it is what I put in it.
Yeah.
So
If you all have a question for Loretta, we are live on the radio, so give us a call at 727-441-3000. But if you don't want to call in, but you still have a question, there's two other ways you can reach us. And one is through from the firm's live Facebook page. We are live right now on Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes Injury Lawyers. That we are live. You can see us on this in the studio ourselves. Kind of see Loretta. She's a little smaller than I am, but you can still see us. These things are getting kind of in the way, but that's all right. But we are also on the firm's YouTube channel, and we are live there too at Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes Injury Lawyers. You can type in your questions on Facebook. I can see them right here in front of me. And Ed on the other side of the glass can let me know if you typed a question on YouTube. We're here to answer the questions that you have regarding Simply Sweet, gardening, and more stuff that we're going to talk about. But also, yes, this is a live legal call-in show. If you have questions regarding the law, I am here to answer the questions as well. So 3 ways to contact us. Telephone, 727-441-3000, or Facebook Live or YouTube Live. So Loretta, before we take the next call, you are a master gardener.
Yes.
Now, honestly, I didn't know that there was such a thing as a master gardener. Can you tell our listeners a little bit what was required for you to become a master gardener?
Can. Matt, I tell you, there's a funny story. I thought someone was pranking me. I knew of the program Master Gardener. I have a couple of friends that had applied for it a couple of times. Her and her husband both, and they've been gardeners for years. And she was telling me, forget it. You're not going to get in. But one Sunday afternoon, I'm sitting there scrolling on Facebook, and I get a private message from someone saying, hey, how long have you been a master gardener? And I'm thinking, I am no one's master gardener. I've only been gardening less than a year myself. And she said to me, yeah, you really are, but I don't think you realize you are. She says, I've been watching because I post on social media, each morning, different things that I'm doing in the garden, different things that I'm growing and harvesting. And she said, would you be interested in applying to be a one? And I'm thinking to myself, someone's pranking me. I know how hard this course is to get into. So, and this was in September. I'll never forget it. It was in September that year. And so she said, open enrollment would be in January. It's through the University of Florida and the Pinellas County government.
Okay.
So they out in Largo at the extension centers where the classes are held live. And so she says, I want you to apply. And I thought, okay. So in January, I went online and I applied. Well, let me tell you, first of all, no one told me that you had to pass the state test just to fill out the application.
Oh, goodness.
So when I went to their website, the University of Florida website for the Master Gardening Program, what drops down first is a test. And I'm thinking, a test? How are you giving me a test and I haven't studied anything yet?
Right.
So you do have to pass a test. I think it was maybe 20 or 25 questions. Some of them were pretty tricky. It was about the different laws, which completely blew me away. It was like different laws that was written for gardening in different states. So you had to learn all about the laws of gardening and the soil and what you can grow and what you can't grow before you can even complete the application.
Oh, wow.
So I did the test. Then I completed the application. After that, I submitted it and I had to wait for weeks. And then I had a telephone interview. It's quite a process. I did the telephone interview. Then my next level was they had to do a level 2 criminal background check on you. You had to be able to pass the background check. And from there, you sit and you wait. You wait and you wait. And then come in June, they announced, because they only accept about 20 to 25 new students for Pinellas County.
Okay.
Each county they accept so many in the state of Florida. And Pinellas County, they only accept between 20 to 25. So I received my acceptance letter in June of that year that I had been accepted. And I started in-person classes in August of that year. I had to complete 50 hours in class. And then once I completed that, then you have to do an internship. You have to get 75 volunteer hours within a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So that was pretty easy for me because I was already doing my
fun.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I was hosting my gardening clubs. I created the gardening club. So I was hosting that the third Saturday of every month. So those 75 hours added up really fast.
Right.
So, and from there, that's my process for starting that journey.
And you mastered that, so you are a master gardener.
I did. I mastered that, and I received the top award for the most volunteer hours for the year.
Wow.
You had to get at least 75, and I had a little over 300. I had 327 hours of volunteer time.
Wow.
And to continue with your certification for Master Gardening, you have to continue an education class, volunteering 35 hours a year for the remainder of your life, or as long as you want to be a Master Gardener. So it is something that you have to continue to work towards every year. You don't ever get grandfathered in.
Okay.
But
and as a Master Gardener, and you I think you saw, and you were teaching before that as well. I think you saw that there was something out there, something
Yes.
that people needed.
Yes,
You know, I mean,
absolutely.
It's kind of
Yes.
it's kind of in a weird way, kind of like the law as well.
Yes.
You know, there's somebody needs your guidance. You know, don't know really what guidance it is just yet, but I
Yes.
need your guidance. And
Yeah.
I think that from talking to you in the past, I think that's probably why you started your non-profit.
I did.
Uh,
I did because I do post every morning, like I said. So the people, different followers or different friends and family members that I have on social media, they would see the things that I'm doing. And the people that have known me for years, they knew that that's not something that I've ever been involved in
Right.
outside in gardening, but they're thinking, wow, if she can do that, maybe I can too.
Yeah.
And I kept encouraging everyone, yes, you can. Believe me,
Yeah.
I know you can. And so many people kept asking about how do you do this? How did you get into it? And I thought, I need to share this and let people know that you don't need experience to do this. You can grow your own food and feed your family quite well, just from one little seed. I myself personally, I'm a gardener that garden from seeds. You don't
Right.
have to garden from seeds. You can go out and buy starts. I want people to understand that any and everyone can do this. It's really quite easy.
Now, there's a lot of master gardeners that become master gardeners, and they do it for profit, or they
Yes.
do it for themselves.
Yes, absolutely. There's
You-
a lot of money you can make in master
Yeah.
gardening.
But you started up a 501c
I did.
charitable corporation
did.
or organization.
I didn't want finance to keep people from doing this. I wanted people to know that there's someone out there that's willing to share this knowledge with you without charging you a fee. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted it to be for everyone to be able to participate in this. I didn't want it to be just for people that had the extra funds to pay for this. Because sometimes the people that need it the most are the ones that can't afford the classes.
Or they're battling the sicknesses and illnesses,
Absolutely.
whether it's physical or even mental.
Exactly. So I averaged about 20 ladies who would come out ladies and men. I had a few men that were in the
Okay.
classes also. And I would say out of the class that we had, I would say 75 or 80% of the people, they had never been in the garden just like myself.
Wow.
And that's why I was able to tell them, look, if I can do this, I know you can do this also. And it just became a real camaraderie. I had ladies tell me all the time that, this is what they look forward to every month. They knew that the third Saturday of every month at 9 a.m., we're going to be talking about gardening.
Okay.
And from gardening, there's so many other things other than just planting a seed and going out to pick something. We went into juicing, explaining to them how important it is to juice, how to process your different vegetables that you grow and by dehydrating them and powdering them down. People say, oh, I don't like vitamins. Well, there's other ways that you can get your vegetables in you without just taking a pill or something. One of my number one ways is dehydrating.
Okay.
I dehydrate mostly all of my vegetables that I harvest, so I can throw them in different, when I cook it, I can put them in different soups or I put them in breads. I love to bake.
You do love to bake.
So there's just so many other ways that you can get your vegetables and still get all of the vitamins that your body need. So
Don't let anybody know, because we'll put those in Jacob's food too, and
Yeah.
so then he can start eating his vitamins and his vegetables. I shouldn't say anything. I'm probably just as bad as he is, but still.
But yeah, and it's just so much fun. I did the juicing classes.
Yeah.
We did juicing. We did the dehydrating classes. Teach you how to dehydrate. Did you know that 1 tablespoon of dehydrated vegetables equals 1 cup of vegetables?
Wow.
So imagine you take a tablespoon, get you a scoop of your vitamins that you dehydrated. There's 1 whole service of your daily needed vitamins right
so
there.
Easy to do it.
Throw it in your smoothie. You can throw it in whatever. And you're getting your vitamins, and you don't even taste it. You don't.
I was going to ask you about the taste.
Nope, you don't taste it.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Might get a little bit of the smell if it's the heavy greens. But even
that's okay. Yeah.
I put a little strawberries in there or a little pineapples.
Wow.
I love mixing. I grow pineapples also. So,
Yeah.
and I'll powder those down also.
Wow.
I eat them fresh. I powder them down. I throw those in things like that. Mangoes, all of the different fruits.
That's wonderful. We represent a lot of people that are on Social Security disability or trying to get on Social Security disability.
Yes.
And part of the frustration of going through Social Security in the process is the waiting and knowing that you can't work. You have physical limitations, or you have mental limitations that prevent you from working.
Yes.
and you kind of lose yourself,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
your identity.
Exactly.
And I can see this as being a wonderful way
Yes.
of, you know, giving purpose to those people.
Absolutely. And yes, you speak about people that's disabled, and disability. Gardening now has improved for me. You don't have to be down in the dirt. I don't garden in the dirt. I garden in mainly grow bags because
Okay.
they're so cost effective. I can go out and spend $50 and get 40 pots, big pots that I grow in. I mean,
Okay.
I'm talking everything from your your green vegetable, your spinach, your collards, your turnips, your onions, you name it. You can grow it in a bag, and it's lightweight. You can get it as small as a 1 gallon bag up to a 100 gallon bag.
Wow.
So, and you have so many different other means of gardening also. The raised beds where you don't have to bend over. Get the ones come waist high. Or
Oh,
if you're wheelchair bound, you can just
so
roll up
there's
to it.
ways to do
There's
it. There's
so
no
many
excuse
different
not
ways.
to do it.
No excuse whatsoever. There's just so many different
Goodness,
ways that you can
goodness.
garden, and these are things that I love to share. I get a little
Yeah.
passionate about talking.
That's why we wanted you here.
I
And-
do
and-
get a little
And we
passionate.
welcome our listeners again. This is Loretta Mitchell. She started Simply Sweet L's after
Yes.
fighting a health condition on her
Yes.
own and trying to find a relief for her, a release for her as well. And lo and behold, she found a release, but also found a way to get better.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
both physically and mentally.
Absolutely.
Through gardening. And so that's what really inspired her to do Simply Sweet L. So if you have questions for Loretta, give us a call. We are here for another 30 minutes. So give us a call at 727-441-3000 or jump on Facebook Live at Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes Injury Lawyers. That's Perenich, Perenich. And you can jump on live and type in your comments or your question right there. Or you can jump on our YouTube channel as well. We are live on YouTube, and you can type in your question right there as well. This is an opportunity for you to ask that question that you may not otherwise know what to ask. Loretta is the expert in this, and not just in gardening, but also in well-being for the mind and for the body and for the soul. You know, and what I liked, Loretta, was one of your missions and your vision was that you want to empower people to grow their own gardens.
Absolutely.
Why is that important to you?
It's mentally, it helps you mentally, without a doubt. It gives you a peace that I can't quite explain, but if you get out in nature, it's something about being out in nature. It just, hearing the birds and seeing the butterflies and everything, it just makes my spirit, it lifts your spirit up to be out and about with the fresh air. But most importantly, with the food prices being what they are today.
I was going to ask you about that.
My
Yeah.
gosh. Matt, it's so funny. I'll go to the different local grocery stores and go into the produce department just to walk around, and I get so upset. I get angry. It's like, this is not fair. Why are they selling this junk to people, And then you look at the prices, and people are struggling. Things are really tough right now. And the prices are so high, and it's not even good quality.
I was going to ask you, it's not just the price. It's
the quality.
You probably see the produce there and say, gosh, you can do so much better.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Wow.
It really makes me angry, the fact that they would even sell this stuff in there. I'll go and I'll buy a couple of things just for the heck of it. I'll go home and I'll slice it open. Like, I can look at a tomato and tell whether or not this tomato is an organic tomato or it's it's GMO in it. You can tell by the designs in it, and you see things growing inside of fruit and vegetables nowadays that we've never seen before. You cut an apple open and it looks perfect on the outside, or a peach or any fruit. You cut it open and it's totally black and yucky inside. We don't worry about that. We don't worry about recalls when you're growing your own garden. So that's another big thing, why I like to garden also. I never worry about recalls. Every day, as you see in the news, it's always something being recalled.
Right.
We know what we're putting in our food when you grow it yourself. So I go out and I can pick a tomato. I can pick whatever I want and pop it in my mouth and eat it and know that there's nothing on it but what I put on it.
And the tomato from your backyard is going to be 100% tomato.
Absolutely.
And not a mixture of something else it could be, or pesticides or other chemicals that are in there to help them grow bigger and such.
And we're very, very fortunate now. Gardening, you have different zones. We're in zone 10A, which is a very high number, and we have very few frost days. That's what your zones are based upon. So I'm a year-round gardener. I don't just grow certain months out of the year.
Okay.
I grow every day of my life, 365 days a year. I'm either dropping a seed, I'm pulling in something, I'm harvesting something out of my garden. This is our perfect time of the year, as far as I'm concerned, in Florida to be gardening. It's in the fall.
Okay.
So
What grows best in the fall?
all your green leafy vegetables for
Okay.
sure. But really, Matt, anything. Tomatoes. This
Okay.
is the perfect time for tomatoes. I grow them in the springtime, but with tomatoes, as they're growing, the hotter it gets, they slow down. They don't like,
Okay.
once it hit 90 degrees, they stop producing.
Okay.
For this time of the year, you're starting new seedlings. Well, it's going to get cooler. So that means they're going to grow longer and you'll get more production from it.
Okay.
So this is the perfect time. But any of your green leafy vegetables, your broccoli, your cauliflower, your turnips, your beets, your carrots, all of that, this is the perfect time for it.
Perfect.
So
You are listening to Loretta Mitchell with Simply Sweet L's. I am Matthew Noyes, one of the partners at the law firm of Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes, who proudly present FLALAW on the radio each Tuesday evening, live here on WTAN Talk Radio. We do often talk about the law, but it's also important. I mean, we've been around for 70 years because the community has been great to us, and so we also want to use this avenue to give thanks to certain people in the community and certain organizations that really make our community as great as it is. And Loretta and Simply Sweet L's is really one of those 501c charitable corporations. And so again, thank you, Loretta, for being here. We did kind of talk about what programs and workshops you do, but can you give our listeners a little bit more insight about how you give back to the community?
sure can. Well, we host everything. All of our workshops are open to everyone. We focus, of course, on gardening, but in addition to gardening, we also focus on food preservation and preparation. It's like once you grow the produce, you need to find a way to store it
Okay.
and how to process it and how to take care of it. What are you going to do with it? If you go out and you grow, like for me, this past spring, I brought in about 140, 145 pounds of tomatoes.
Wow.
It's like, okay,
Wow.
what do you do with that?
Wow.
So I
Sounds
teach
like
all
some
of
good
that.
spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, I made lots of that. Lots of pasta dishes.
Oh,
Yes. So I teach you how to take care of your produce and how to preserve it and how to prepare it once you've grown it, so that you're not wasting it. And let's see, what else?
Where are these workshops at? And
I
you said they're
host them
open to the
different.
public.
Yes, they are. I actually have one coming up this month, September
Okay.
the 20th.
Oh, all right.
And actually, this is going to be a location where I'm probably going to be hosting it from September through May, every third Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. It's going to take place. It's called Terra Nova Outdoor Living Nursery. It's right here on
Okay.
Clearwater Largo Road. From here, it's probably take you about 10 minutes to
Oh,
get
wow.
there. It's a beautiful, beautiful garden. Just such a beautiful space to come out and
it's on the third Saturday of every
third
month.
Saturday of every month
At what time?
at 9 a.m.
Okay. And if people were interested in joining the workshop, how can they get information to join?
You can visit my website. It will be posted on there soon, but you can visit my social media networks. All of my social medias, I'm on Facebook under my name, Loretta Mitchell, Loretta Rutledge Mitchell, my maiden name, hyphenated, or you can visit my Facebook page for Simply Sweet L's. That's very easy to find. I'm also on YouTube. That's another new adventure, Matt, that I'm just starting,
That's good.
which I'm going to be uploading on that quite a bit,
Good.
especially with the new season starting.
Yeah.
But you
It's
can
gonna be so
also
helpful. I mean, people want to, if they can't make the workshop, they can
Right.
jump onto YouTube and watch it.
absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start a YouTube page.
Yeah.
It's because I do get a lot of questions and answers. Questions come into me. It's like people that attend the workshops, they always come back and say, what do I do next? Okay, I started this seed. And so the program that I ran last year, my gardening program, we actually set up a private Facebook page And it was basically called Ask Loretta. You can ask me questions. And I would have the participants, they would take pictures of their seedlings and their plants, and they'll say, hey, what's going on? What does it look like it need? And I would go in and I would answer that and give them that opportunity to have a Q&A.
10 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do any of that,
You
right?
better believe it.
That's wonderful.
Not a bit. But you can also find me on Instagram, TikTok. I'm
Loretta's
learning
on
this
TikTok.
stuff.
Look
Yeah,
at
I
that.
know.
Bobby,
It's
can
so
we get
funny.
you on TikTok once in a while?
No.
And you can, so it's YouTube, TikTok, and what's the other one, dear?
Tell them where it is, Homesteading with Sweet Hill.
I will.
Yeah.
On all of those programs, you can find me on Homes. It's called Homesteading with Sweet L. So if you just type
Homesteading?
in homesteading,
Okay.
it's homestead. It's another way from saying that you're a farmer, that you're not a
Yeah.
farmer.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
So homesteading, it just means that you're taking care of all of the things basically you need to run a home.
Yeah.
So it will cover other things other than just gardening.
That's
It
wonderful.
will definitely have some cooking classes on there. It'll have different preservation classes like freeze drying or dehydrating or all kinds of the canning. Definitely canning.
Wow.
Going to be doing a lot of canning classes. Those are some of the things that are coming in the future, the very
Yeah,
near future, the
That's
canning
good.
classes.
And it's free to the people
It's
that come?
free. Yep, it has been all last year. We were very fortunate. I have a doctor over in Tampa, Dr. Tracy. It's called Dr. Tracy's House. And she has a nonprofit also. Her name is Dr. Tracy Thomas. She was awarded this, what do you call it? Not a scholarship, a
Like
grant. A grant. She was awarded a grant through the city of Clearwater
Oh, okay.
and the Clearwater Urban Leadership Council. And they needed a master gardener to run the gardening programs. That was one of the missions that they were been commissioned to have. And so they reached out to me and asked me would I consider being their facilitator for that.
Wow.
So I ran.
So you don't have enough on your plate already. Mom, grandma, wife, and master gardener and all that. So
yeah, and it's quite a success. We had about on a monthly basis, we had about 20 to 25 people that came out and participated.
wow.
I started that. My first workshop was in November of 2023,
Okay.
and then we kicked it off full-fledged January of 2023. I had participants that attended every single class from January to November.
Wow.
So I had
There's something new that they can learn every time.
absolutely every month it was a different topic. Like the first month it was about seed introduction to gardening. And then it was an introduction to seed starting. I taught them step by step, hands-on, how to start their own seeds. You don't have to grow from seeds, but if you're going to have a large garden, I recommend seeds because I took a little visit this past weekend out of the big box stores. I won't call any names. I went to both of them. And their seedlings are running $6 for one seedling this year, $5.96 a piece. And I'm thinking you can buy 2 packages of seeds that would have at least 50 to 100 seeds in it for less than that. So we talked about that. We did workshops on that. And then it was from there, it just went through all the different stages of how to care for the seedling, when to up-pot it. And up-pot it means taking it out of the small container that you started your seed in and uploading it to a larger container.
Okay.
You may, depending on how early you start your seedlings, you may need to upload it a couple of times before you actually get it into the permanent home, whether that's going to be in ground or raised bed. So we go into a lot of I go into a lot of details about that.
It's not just leaving it, putting some water on it, make sure sun hits, and then you're done.
No, there's many little steps that go along with, but they're all fun. Everyone had fun doing it. It was just
no wonder my plant's always fun.
We really had a lot of fun at it.
Well, I know that it's been very helpful for you.
Yes.
But can you share an example of how your programs has made a difference in someone else's life in the community?
Yes. By me teaching them and talking to them about the different herbs, that herbs are not just for cooking with. Most of your herbs are medicinal also. So by teaching them that, if you're growing basil, for example, holy basil is a wonderful herb to season with, but it's also a very, very healthy tea. You can drink it as tea. So just teaching them that when you're growing, there's many other ways that you can take in your produce that you're growing and use it to help your body, As I said, mullein is with herbs. Mullein is a herb. Mullein is one of those miracle herbs.
And me as a lawyer, I've never heard of it. My wife drinks tea all the time, but it's the packaged tea.
Yeah.
But if she opened up the bag, she'd probably see all the additives as well.
Moringa. Have you heard of the tree of life? Moringa.
I heard, yeah. I
Yeah,
heard that.
that's another one that
Uh,
won't be without that one. I mean, that
uh,
has a moringa has pretty much every vitamin, mineral, and nutrient that the body needs.
wow,
So
that's
we
very
just
good.
introduced them to different plants and herbs that they never heard of. That's part of. I'm sorry. Part of the reason why I like to garden with seeds. I'm telling you, I get excited.
That's right. Yeah,
My brain is
that's what we
going.
like. You're doing great.
Another reason why I like to grow from seed is I like to grow a lot of unique things. I collect seeds from all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm growing things and eating, my family and I, we're eating things that we never heard of in our life, For
That you
example,
can't get either.
You absolutely can't get.
Yeah.
You absolutely can't get. I mean, give you an example, tomatoes. People think a tomato is a tomato is a tomato. No. All tomatoes are not equal. There's over 10,000 different species of tomatoes alone.
Wow.
So, and you go in your local grocery
Wow.
store and you may have three.
That's right.
Three. And they actually have a different taste. You use them, you prepare them for different meals. Like if I'm making pasta sauce or any kind of salsa, then you want what's called a paste tomato. I don't want a juicing tomato, something that I'm going to use for salad, because it has too much juice in it. So it's things
that
like
makes
that.
sense. Yeah. Things that I wouldn't think of, but that's wonderful.
So just to be able to share that type of information with people.
And I can imagine that the people that attend for the gardening, but also for the social aspect of it as well.
Yes.
And
I have a couple of ladies told me when I announced to them at the graduation in November that I was going to be put it on hold for just a few months to get through the holidays. They were so sad. My heart just broke because they were saying that they actually, that was their monthly outlet that they look forward to every single month, And I kept telling them, I'm sorry, I'm not stopping it completely. It's coming back.
Right.
We built up a real sister familyhood.
Right. It's community. And that's really what it's all about.
Yes.
Community.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone's helping each other.
Absolutely.
And they're growing spiritually or physically or mentally the best that they can, which they may not have another outlet for this.
Right. Even introduce them to baseball bat. I know we're all baseball fans.
There you go. Now I want to know how you introduce gardening and baseball together. I can do it with law, but I didn't know if you could do it with gardening.
Well, I hosted a seed plant swap where we brought together all of our seeds, and I got a couple of sweets out of the ballpark out at our Threshers, home of the Threshers, and we were upstairs on just a fun Sunday afternoon, and guess who threw out the first pitch?
How was it? Was it a strike?
Didn't quite get there, but
actually, one of my clients was at that suite, and she said wonderful things about you. And I said, "Well, I know. I've known her for a long time, And so it was wonderful to hear that. Yeah.
I mean, but just so because you had many ladies that had said they'd never even been to a baseball game.
Yeah.
So you just and those are the type of things that I want to do. I want to make it fun. I would love to be able to host an event out at the Derby Lanes, like a Kentucky Derby garden party.
Sure.
That's one of the other things that I have planned in the future to do. But just to bring the community together and introduce people to things that maybe they never even thought about that can be fun, that they may enjoy and just, but still talking garden.
There's too much loneliness, in our community. And I think that organizations like yours gives them an opportunity to be relived or to be born, to find a way where they can be accepted and get in the dirt if they want to get in the dirt.
Get in the dirt.
So,
like last year after those terrible hurricanes that we had back to back, my heart was just overflowing. I kept thinking to myself, what can I do? What can I do? And I knew I wanted to do something special for the group that had participated in the gardening program. So I had a graduation I got with St. Pete College out on Joe Street. And they allowed me to use one of their rooms out there. And I had a full-fledged graduation ceremony. And I prepared a full Thanksgiving banquet for everyone there. So we had about 45 people to attend. And I let them know every single produce came from my garden.
Wow, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Everything. And
you gotta start growing turkeys now, too.
I know.
Raising turkeys. I don't think you grow turkeys, but you raise turkeys. Well, there's Bobby over. No, I'm Jesus. No, well, that's wonderful. I can imagine that any holiday feast would be full of what you grew yourself.
Yes.
So it's even more rewarding.
And that's what just just knowing that from a teeny tiny little seed, that it was able to produce a meal that fed 40 to 50 people.
Right.
And they were so happy to be there, and we had a chance to just celebrate the holiday season together. It just people that I probably never would have ran into and met had I not started this nonprofit.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So,
Now, I know you're not a doctor, so you can't give any medical
yes,
advice or anything like that.
absolutely.
But have you heard stories from other people in your programs or in your classes of how the gardening and
Yes.
the greens and others
I
have
sure
helped them?
have. I sure have.
Can you share a few with those?
I sure can. I have about, oh boy, from my super greens. I do sell those now. People kept asking, how can I get them? How
I
can
know.
get them?
I get them. They're very good.
Thank you. And so I have people from the gardening program that have given up taking all of their store-bought vitamins. And they buy their vitamins directly from me every single month, and they tell me constantly how it has improved their health. They sleep better, they have more energy, they don't have that bad aftertaste feeling from taking the store-bought items and everything like that with the preservatives, additives. So I've had people tell me all kinds of wonderful things about how they've
Right.
improved their health. The juicing class that I introduced to them, I wanted to teach about healthy living, healthier snacks. You can't just eat vegetables all the time.
Right.
So what I did for one of the classes, the juicing class, it was juicing and dehydrating. I dehydrated a bunch of fruit, to show I was like, this is your fruit candy. You want something sweet? Just get a piece of mango. I had mango, I had watermelon, I had pineapples. And so to introduce that to the public, to the community. And now several of the ladies have gone out and they bought dehydrators and juicers, and now they're juicing and putting their powder
Wow.
in there also. So
And the juicers and the dehydrators, I mean, they
Mhm.
cost money, but they're not super
Yes.
expensive if you
No.
compare to what you're
Right.
spending at the grocery
You
stores.
can make it as cost effective as possible. You can find a juicer online for about $30. And sometimes you catch one sale even less than that.
Okay.
So it just depends on how tech you want. You can get them from that up to thousands of dollars, but you don't have to spend that kind of money. Gardening is supposed to not only be healthy for you, but it's also not supposed to break the bank. It's supposed to be affordable for you.
Right.
For people that are on, I think it's called SNAP, the SNAP program,
Right.
which was news to me. I didn't know that you can actually buy seedlings. You can buy seeds with it, which are anything that is food related.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
that was a big benefit to a lot of people that didn't have the money to go out and get the seeds and that type of thing. But they just said, you can use your SNAP card, SNAP
Yeah.
benefits, whatever, and go out and purchase these things also.
What I've seen, my family and I, we donate some or volunteer sometime over at
Yes.
Homeless Empowerment
Mhm.
Program, right down the street here,
Mhm.
and they have their own garden as
Yes.
well, and so you can really see what produce when you're helping prepare the meals
Yes.
for the residents there. You can really see what
Yes.
produce was from their garden and what came as a donation
Yeah.
from another box store or something like that. So it is amazing. Now, one of your core values is sustainability.
Sustainability, for
You know,
sure. Mhm.
what are some simple, eco-friendly gardening practices that people can do at home, even
Sure.
if they're not jumping into the
Yes.
whole process?
Even if you don't have a backyard, even if you don't have a garden, there's ways that you can garden. You can garden indoors. If you have a little sunny window, then you want to get seedlings or seeds that says miniature, or what do you call it? Porch. They call it porch.
Porch,
Mhm.
okay.
So that it's not going to get too big. It's going to
Right.
stay small. Like you have mini tomatoes. You can grow tomatoes inside as long as you got
Yeah.
a bright sunny window. It may cost you $3. Get a plastic cup. You don't have to go out and get any fancy equipment. Get a plastic cup or a paper cup, poke some holes in it, put a little dirt in it, drop a seed in it. You can grow all of your herbs inside, so you don't have to have a big yard. You don't have to go out and break the bank
Right.
and buy all of this fancy equipment, or you can start off with $2.
Well, it
And
sounds like fun. I mean, as you know, I have two granddaughters that are
Yes.
my pride and joy. And I can see me doing that, as a papa granddaughter thing to start that off.
They
That's
would
a
love
wonderful. Yeah.
our 11-year-old granddaughter, she's so funny. We have family Sunday dinner together twice a month, the first and therd Sunday of every month. Grandma say, Sunday dinner at the house.
First and third.
First and third Sunday.
Oh, so the third Saturday you're doing this, and the third Sunday you're doing family dinner. Oh, wow.
You're right.
You were busy.
But our 11-year-old granddaughter, she walks in the front door and right out the back door. I mean,
Right to
the
the
garden
garden.
is her thing.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Grandma's taught her everything that I know about gardening. She can
Yeah.
actually host classes herself. This is her first year in middle school, and she actually applied for a magnet middle school that had a gardening program.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and she got
Wow.
accepted. That it's over in Tampa, Walker Middle School.
Wow.
They have a wonderful agriculture program.
Wow.
The garden is for all ages. You don't have to. You can be. I don't care. You can be ages 5 to 100, and you can get out there and do something to garden to grow food. And start small. That's my whole thing. Start small. Don't get
Don't
overwhelmed.
burn yourself out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, there's no mistakes in gardening. It's just a learning experience.
Yes.
Something doesn't make it, try again. Drop another seed.
Sounds good. So what's next for Simply Sweet Alice? What's the short-term goals coming up? And then, what's the upcoming projects? And then do you have any long-term goals?
Well, what's coming up next is to introduce more of the canning, because in our area, with the hurricanes and the storms, power outages and that type of thing, I don't want people to think that the only way to hold their food is to freeze it. That's really not the best way at all to freeze it. Because if you have a power outage, then there goes your food.
Yeah.
But if you can your food, you can just open that jar, that can. It's called canning, but it's actually in a glass jar.
Okay.
But you just
jarring. Yeah, I guess canning sounds better though.
You just pop that jar open. If you have heat, you can heat it up. If you don't, it's still food safe. It's ready to eat. And it's easy to travel with. If you have to pick up and leave your home, and you don't want to have to go out and eat out at restaurants, take it with you. So I want to introduce more ways of preserving. That's very important to me. And it's like we're growing this food, but how do we maintain it and keep it so that it doesn't go bad?
If you do canning, how long? Let's say you can some vegetables. How long can they be? I don't know if preserved is the right word to say, but I think preservatives when I say that. But.
Matt, we have people that are finding canned goods in old houses they bought that are 20, 25 years old, and it's
still good.
Absolutely.
Well,
as long
wonderful.
as it had a good seal on it. I don't try to can anything to keep for 20 or 25 years.
But through one hurricane season would be perfect.
Exactly. Well, actually, I can for it to last at least a year.
Okay.
I want it to last me till the next growing season for whatever it is I'm growing. So I grow enough of that product. I can it up or I dehydrate it or whatever to preserve it to last me till I can grow that harvest again.
Perfect.
So
now, how can people get more involved, or more importantly, how can they support your mission? I know you're a charitable organization.
Yes.
How can others get involved and support
Absolutely.
Simply Sweet Alice?
Well, actually, there's many ways that you can get involved. If you are a gardener and you have experience at this for a while, if you want to come out and volunteer with me at some of the workshops, I welcome that. We also have 4 different levels of sponsorship categories that you're able to visit our website and get a little bit more information about that. But we're always looking for some sponsors to help us to keep the club affordable for the community.
You help the people that, they may not otherwise be able to.
Absolutely. And the materials, they can add up when you're doing big groups, big classes. So always looking for sponsorships. If you want to volunteer to come out to assist us with any of the different topics, whether or not it's about food preserving or gardening. I may be a master gardener, but I don't consider myself a total expert among everything.
What number can they call or website can they reach you at?
There's 2 numbers
before the music shuts us off.
Okay, there's my one phone number is 727-488-9298. Again, that's 727-488-9298. Or you can call 727-479-5500. Again, 727-479-5500. And you can always find me on Facebook under Loretta Mitchell or Simply Sweet Alice. And you can also visit us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And you can find us there under Harvesting with Sweet Alice.
Perfect. Thank you, Loretta. Thank you for spending an hour with us.
This is the Tam Talk Radio Network.
After a car accident, there are many questions.
FM 102.3.
Listen.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump won't say when, but insists he will direct federal law enforcement intervention to combat crime in Chicago and elsewhere.
We're going to do it anyway.